Hello everybody, Abed's brother here, and it's kind of weird, but I'm back in Batman Arkham Knight. The very first video of this that I made for performance, to demonstrate performance, was on my old R7 260X, and now I got a GPU upgrade about 2 months ago to an RX 5700 XT, and I'm going to see how it runs. I feel like every time I do one of these upgrades, I do one of these videos. So here are the graphics options. We are at 1440p. I modified the config file to set a frame rate limit of 200. I'm pretty sure we're never going to hit that. You can see we're sitting at 140 here in the menu. But otherwise, this is as high as it can go on Radeon. We can't enable interactive smoke fog or interactive paper debris, but enhanced rain and enhanced light shafts are on. So let's run the benchmark first and see how it goes. I've been pretty pleased with the RX 5700 XT. It's been a really good GPU for me so far. I have had some issues. When I had my previous GPU, which was an RX 470, you know, I was pushing that very much to its limit. And people would say, I'd see posts in the forums, hey, you know, a game is badly optimized or whatever, and I didn't really get it. You know, I was just like, it runs fine for me, whatever. Now, Arkham Knight, as you can see, my GPU utilization is between 95 and 99%, so I'm pretty sure this game, it's making use of my hardware. But this morning I tried Just Cause 4, and I gotta tell you, my GPU did not use more than like 60 to 70%. Even when I had it loaded up with max settings at 1440p, it just would not use the full power of the GPU. And I was thinking, do I have a problem with my system? Is my power supply not good or something? Not giving enough power? Because it's a Rosewill power supply. It's not the best, but it is over-spec'd for this build. It's 650 watts with 648 watts on the 12-volt rail. But now I load up Arkham Knight and I see everything's getting fully utilized and there's no problems there. So yeah, Just Cause 4 just has really bad optimization. And I never used to understand that before. I was like, well, if it runs with an RX 470, I was like, well, if it runs and I get good frame rates, then it's fine. But now I'm like, huh, there's another level to optimization that I didn't really appreciate before. So 114 average, minimum 74, maximum of 162. So what I'm going to do is I am going to, I think I'm in the Stag airships. I'm going to fly to the studios, Panessa Studios, whatever it's called, call the Batmobile and run the Arkham loop, just like I have in my other videos. The default frame rate limit, by the way, is 90 FPS in the menus. You can't, by default, set the game to more than that. Okay, it might look a little jerky here. I disabled mouse smoothing. Let's get some speed.
This place is going to have more plant life than a nature reserve. We'll be the endangered species.
So the only thing I've thought of that might improve performance on this a little bit is if I had a better CPU. I'm running a Ryzen 7 2700, and it's currently clocked at 3.8 gigahertz on all cores. I think the actual thing is 3.7929 gigahertz. It's 3.8. That might improve things a little bit. And you can see GPU utilization is not the highest here, but it should go up. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And I've been working on my graph there on the side. I added a feedback for frame time there, so you can see some of that. This doesn't go around the whole outside of Gotham here. This is just the loop that I've run in my previous videos, so that's what I'm running here. And this is a cold run, so I have not run this before in preparation of making this video. So everything is streaming in for the first time here on this particular run of the game. So it might be showing a little worse here than it would if I'd been playing it for an hour or something. And the game is installed to a solid state drive. Not an M.2, but a solid state. It's on a 1 terabyte Adata SU800.
The bat could crush us in that car tank thing.
So you see, it's not stuttery gameplay in the sense that I've got micro stutter, but the frame rate is all over the place, which does create an uneven feel to it. Now my frame rate is by default 75 Hertz, so if I were to be playing, get out of the way. If I was going to play this, I would be using Radeon Chill to lock the frame rate. So I wouldn't be experiencing any of the uneven. Here's where it's going to get a big drop. It always does.
Oh, crap.
Yeah.
Look out. It's the bat.
So yeah, faster CPU would probably provide better use of the GPU, but
Can't believe the losers in this town spend a decade getting the crap
it's a
kicked out of
pretty...
them.
The Ryzen 7 2700 is pretty quick. It's not going to rival a 9700K or 9900K in single core at all. I think 9900K, let's spin, is going to pull about, what, 30% more frames, 30% more performance in single core. So if you have one of those, you'll definitely be an advantage, but you can see the CPU isn't even that heavily stressed here.
Batman, he's got a friggin' tank.
For a game that really did not launch too well,
The bat's here.
oh, come on, I dodged that. It does generally run okay now. I almost need to turn mouse smoothing on here because my mouse movements are a little too shaky. Normally I don't like mouse smoothing, but I have the sensitivity turned down real low and it still seems like there's some acceleration happening. Let me take a look at that. Game options. Yeah, mouse sensitivity. Oh, mouse smoothing's back on? I thought I turned it off. And let's reduce the sensitivity a little bit so I don't feel like the camera's turning all the way around.
Run that freak down.
There we go.
Go, go, go.
Not bad. So yeah, if you have an RX 5700 XT and you were hoping for 1440p Ultra in this game at a locked 60 FPS, you'll definitely get it. Because if you've noticed, the frame rate, I think it dipped under 60 once when running the Arkham loop. It didn't really do much worse than that. Of all the other times, though, we've been above 60, like well above it. Except right now. And the game just wants me to look like an idiot. But really, the frame rate is all over the place. And again, I'm using an unofficial frame rate limit. It's really only supposed to have a limit of 90 FPS, and I unlocked it to run at a limit of 200.
Let's hit a liquor store next. Jeez, he's coming after us. For it. Come on, get us out of here.
So let's run the loop in reverse. And this is really the worst case scenario, driving the Batmobile.
Nice driving, idiot. He's right there. Just go.
That always was the worst case scenario with this game anyway. Let's take it over to the other side of town that we kind of skipped when I ran my initial loop.
He's on our tail. Back up. Hit the back.
And we're seeing 90% utilization. It's still not a very optimized game in that sense, but it's definitely way better than it was at launch. And if you have the horsepower to pummel your way through the game's various dips and such, it actually isn't that bad anymore. But brute forcing it is really the only way to get good performance out of this game. I understand it's because of some kind of thing they did with the texture streaming. I don't really know a lot about actual game coding, but from what I understand, it was... Hey, they're chasing a cop. Not a problem, dude. But from what I understand, it's something to do with just how the textures stream in. Wait, what? Why am I showing a signal here? Am I supposed to escort him? I don't remember that. Whatever.
You know, I kinda
Anyway.
thought of Batman as a force of nature. This whole Wayne thing ruins it for me.
Alright, let's see about ejecting. I think I made a video about optimization in this game on my RX 470, and I was talking about my next GPU and what I should go for. Oh, I think it was when I did the NVIDIA GeForce Now video. I was like, what should I get for my next GPU? Well, I went with an RX 5700 XT. Just because I wanted the best value for money, and as a longtime Radeon user, I was just... all the horror stories about Radeon drivers really didn't faze me that much. Because people have said that Radeon has had bad drivers for years, and there was an issue with Navi drivers for a bunch of months. I'm not denying that, but, you know, going back to, I want to say the Hawaii GPUs, the R9 290, 290X, 390, 390X, people were always like, Radeon has horrible drivers, and I never found that to be the case. They didn't update that often, so yeah, they were sometimes behind the curve when new games came out. But other than that, I never had a problem with Radeon drivers. So when people said Navi has terrible drivers, I was like, okay, it seems like a lot of people are saying Navi has terrible drivers, so I'll believe that, but how bad is it? I didn't believe it was that bad, and it didn't prove to be, actually. Hey! Consider yourself lucky. Not everybody gets to punch the Batman and live. Let's go by Ivy's plant life here. There's not a lot of vegetation in this game, so you'd think the game would run better compared to a game like, I don't know, Just Cause 4, which has loads of vegetation, doesn't run well, but looks like crap. At least Arkham Knight looks way better than Just Cause 4, even though they are two very different types of games set in two mostly very different environments. And we got some low frame rates here. But this runs better than Just Cause 4, believe it or not. It really does. And if you're like, holy shit, how bad does Just Cause 4 run? It runs really badly.
So, when I break someone's arm, it's battery. When Rich Boy Wayne does the same damn thing, it's vigilantism. That's one sweet gig. Yeah, I want a piece of that. Oh, it's easy, man. Just go get yourself a few $1 billion.
Ah, yes. So that's pretty much the deal here, RX 5700 XT.
Ain't too late to join
Batman
up,
Arkham
my friend.
Knight.
Penguin's always looking for new recruits. I hear the money's good too. It's Batman. Come on, let's get over there.
Come on. Hey! He hit me. Ah! I'm a little out of practice. Okay, I don't know what that's all about. Something's going on there in the background. Well, okay. Haven't seen this before. I am recording this with Radeon ReLive. I don't know if that's affecting this. It shouldn't. I've recorded a bunch of videos with Radeon ReLive. Okay, let's play for a little bit longer. I'm just going to run around and do some stuff here. Let's see if we see that again. Because it plays fine with the Batmobile. Frame rate gets a little low, as you saw, but it plays well enough. Now what, did I just get all those guys to come after me? Thing is, this game uses Unreal 3, not Unreal 4, so it's really pushed beyond its limits, I'd say. But, you know, Borderlands 3, I hear, ran into this problem. They were using Unreal 3 at first, and then they did an engine swap mid-development. That's one reason why Borderlands 3 took so long to come out. Because they were using Unreal 3, then they switched to Unreal 4. And Arkham Knight didn't swap its engine out. But to make it look like this, they had to basically alter some components of the engine and write some new code for it to make it do certain things that it wasn't otherwise able to do.
Remind me to hit a toy shop before we leave. Told my kid I was gonna buy him a present.
Well. Alright, let's get up in the air. No, that was just a temporary thing. Maybe something's going on. Maybe Windows is updating or something on my computer. I don't know.
Remember, you see Batman,
Shout and charge him.
never fails.
I remember that one. This was a major problem I had. I can't get over Just Cause 4, I gotta tell you. But a major problem I had with it was the water. The water looks absolutely terrible in Just Cause 4, which just bugs the hell out of me because Just Cause 3 had some of the best water in any game. And this is at night, so in Arkham Knight, so they don't, I don't know if they have to detail quite as much stuff, but this looks very good. The animation, I think it'd look amazing if it was ray traced. That's one thing that, you know, is very much a gimmick right now is ray tracing, but kind of like VR. Yeah, even with Even with the new Half-Life VR game, Half-Life Alyx, VR is still a gimmick, and I think it always will be a gimmick. Ray tracing, I don't believe so. I think in 5 to 7 years, almost every new game is going to be ray traced. I think that's the coming future. Right now, it is a gimmick. Not enough games use it, primarily because it's not on console. It will be on PlayStation 5 and the next Xbox, because AMD makes the consoles, and they're taking their sweet time developing a competing ray tracing architecture. But ray tracing, I believe, is going to go mainstream. VR, no, it's not. Nobody wants to spend an extra $600 just to play Half-Life Alyx.
Anybody seen that Anarchy guy? That kid'd love this.
Maybe the cost of VR stuff is going to go down sometime in the future. But at the time I'm making this, that's about the going rate. Come on, guys, don't run away. Oh, we got a group of guys who want to play right here. One thing you might see from unlocking the frame rate the way I did is some glitchy shadows. No, there it goes. There it goes again. Okay. I guess this game really does suck sometimes. I'm very surprised, I gotta say. Yeah. Wow. I never had sticking problems like this with my RX 470, I gotta say, but I've seen loads of people with, you know, GTX 1080s, 1080 Ti's, RTX 2070s, all complain about the game sticks and stutters during big fights, and I never really understood that, but I do now.
I mean, where the hell does he get this stuff? Don't look like no damn car I ever seen. That thing drove past us in the street and blew out a bunch of windows. Baz was closest, burst his eardrums.
Look out, guys. Here I come. Oh, there we go. Wouldn't do it. Yeah, it's whenever he goes for the knockout move. It seems like it caught. I'm doing the. It's Alt+3 to do the quick Batarang takedown on stunned enemies. It seems like that locks the game up, even briefly. I thought this was going to be a short 10-minute video. It's like, hey, here's how it goes. And I'm surprised. But we're still staying above 60 FPS, usually in even the worst situations. I've seen some dips to the upper 50s, but... Wow, there's suddenly a lot of guys here. What the heck? Okay, let's try this again. No, that didn't glitch. It's also detecting, like, all these guys, like, way across town to throw the quick Batarang at, which it never used to do before. Still a glitchy game. Still a good game, but a glitchy one. Heh.
You know, I saw my folks get whacked when I was a kid, too. Don't see me getting all self-righteous about it.
Alright, well, Arkham Knight, still a game with problems, but powered up on an RX 5700 XT, generally runs pretty well. Still has a lot of its signature issues, unfortunately. I don't think all those are ever really going to be fixed, but if this video was at all useful to you, please give it a thumbs up, and thanks for watching.